Hello and welcome. Today we begin our show with the latest updates from Cameroon. Fresh protests erupted in the country after its 92-year-old President Paul Biya secured an 8th term in office. Hundreds of protesters hit the streets in parts of Cameroon to oppose Biya's victory. The demonstrators carried out rallies, torched piles of debris and clashed with security forces. The protests rocked the country's economic capital, Douala, and opposition leader Issa Tchiroma Bakary's hometown of Garoua.
We want our president, Issa Tchiroma, to come and fix the country. We have suffered enough. Young people are not working. Everyone is suffering. There are no jobs. And the country is in chaos. In other words, the crisis in the north is not being resolved. The arms dealers are not being dealt with.
Earlier, the agitations staged in anticipation of Biya's win turned deadly following a crackdown from security forces. The protests killed at least 4 people after forces allegedly fired live ammunitions and tear gas.
We want change. It is unacceptable that we go out to demand our rights, to demand victory for the president, and the ministers come out and shoot at us with live ammunition. We are civilians, we are not armed. We fired live ammunition, shot after shot. And that is not normal. We made this change. They let people be killed. This time, everyone is going to die. It's over.
Biya condemned the deaths in a social media post.
At a time when the sovereign people have once again placed their trust in me for a new term of office, my first thoughts go out to all those who have needlessly lost their lives and to their families as a result of the post-election violence.
The demonstrations erupted after Tchiroma rejected Biya's victory and called for protests. He denounced the results as a masquerade.
For the Cameroonian people, in their overwhelming majority, will never accept the Constitutional Council's validation of the falsification and ballot stuffing on a historic scale, as it has been brought to the attention of the entire world.
Cameroon's Constitutional Council stated that Biya won with the election more than 53% of the votes, and Tchiroma trailed with a little over 35%. While 8 other candidates secured less than 1% of the votes each. But Tchiroma challenged these results. According to his tally, he secured more than 54% of the votes. And amid Tchiroma's growing criticism of results, the Biya-led government has intensified its crackdown. The authorities have deployed police and security officials at major intersections and sensitive sites across the country's capital. Public gatherings have been banned, traffic restrictions are in place in most major cities, and several shops and gas stations were shut over fear of clashes.
This is not the kind of situation I want my children to live in. I'm basically scared to even post online, but I have to do it either ways, because if I don't do it now, my children will have to live in this same fear. We have people scared to even come out and say, no, this is bad, because they don't know what happened to them. I don't want my children to live in this kind of situation.
Well, despite the protests, the election results allow Biya to extend his more than 4-decade-long rule. At 92, Biya is the world's oldest head of state, and now he could remain in power until near his 100th birthday. He is only the 2nd person to lead Cameroon since its independence from France in 1960. His critics claim that Biya has ruled the country with an iron fist. He is accused of repressing political opposition and holding on to power. But will he be able to navigate the country through these turbulent protests? Well, for more on this, we have with us Ayanda Sishi-Wigzel, a political commentator and journalist who's joining us live from Johannesburg. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and good afternoon to all of the Firstpost viewers.
Ayanda, let's first look at the situation on the ground. How truly divided is the country right now?
What we are witnessing right now is a country that is fighting back against an election result that they were expecting, but still, like, knowing what is going on, they're still opting to fight back against that election result. What we are seeing here is a unified country that is saying enough is enough. That is why the young people have taken to the streets in order to speak about their lack of trust in the election results that have come back. Paul Biya has been given his 8th mandate in order to be president of the country. And in the 7 previous mandates that he has had, we are finding that Cameroon is still having high levels of unemployment. The youth in the country, which makes up majority of the population of Cameroon, are sitting unemployed. There's a high cost rate of food with the rising cost of food. And we are seeing that more and more that the political, those who are in power politically are still continuing to hold the mandate, yet majority of the country is suffering. And what we are also seeing that is coming out of Cameroon, unfortunately, is the apathy that comes from voting because of the fact that these results are looking the way that they are looking. And so what we are seeing is a result of those who are holding onto power, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we're seeing the results of that taking place in Cameroon right now as we speak.
Yes, and let's build on that younger population, of course, a large proportion under the age of 25. And on the polar opposite side of that, a leader who could now be in office up towards his 100th birthday. Can you describe the content and discontent that is there from younger voters and why this decision and this election is something of a surprise and also a shock?
It has to be a shock and a surprise, because when you tell people to go to the ballot in order to expect change, that is what people expect to see. They expect to see change, not to see more of the status quo stay the same. And so it is worrying when you see a young population that is not working, that is not contributing to the economy, that is screaming at the top of their lungs that this is what they need to have from their government in order for them to contribute, not only for themselves, but for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of their children. We heard previously in the news insert that people are standing up for the sake of their futures and for the sake of the future of their children as well. We are dealing with a president who is now going to have his 8th mandate and is going to be reaching the age of 100. We do not know whether or not he's going to live to even see that age. And the mark of a good leader is a person who is able to step aside and say that I too can be led as well. And we are not seeing that when it comes to Paul Biya. We are absolutely not seeing that. And so the discontent that is coming from young people is that they do not have a seat at the table.
Well, thank you very much to Ayanda Sishi-Wigzel for joining us there. We will, of course, continue to monitor all of the growing developments from Cameroon.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all 3 just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.